And the procession ends with our platform party. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the distinguished members of the platform party. I'll ask each to stand while being introduced. Please hold your applause until I've made all the introductions. The first 9 individuals I will introduce here today bring greetings to the President and represent their constituencies. Dan Hollingshead, Chair of the University of Oregon Foundation Board of Trustees, a 1969 graduate of the university who by his presence brings greetings from the Board of Trustees. Shelley Elliott, Chair of the Officers of Administration Council, who by her presence brings greetings from the Officers of Administration at the University of Oregon. Gary Malone, President of the Service Employees International Union Local 503, who by his presence brings greetings from the classified employees of the University of Oregon. Corey DeBrow, President of the University of Oregon Alumni Association Board of Directors, a 1988 graduate of the university who by his presence brings greetings from the University of Oregon alumni, 160,000 strong. Kitty Piercy, Mayor of Eugene, who by her presence brings greetings from the people of the city of Eugene. Nathan Tublitz, Professor of Biology and President of the University Senate, who by his presence brings greetings from the University of Oregon faculty. Emma Kallaway, President of the Associated Students of the University of Oregon, who by her presence brings greetings from all 22,000 University of Oregon students. Paul Kelly, Jr., President of the Oregon State Board of Higher Education, who by his presence brings greetings from the State Board. Sid Lyken, Mayor of Springfield, who by his presence brings greetings from the people of the city of Springfield. And now the other distinguished members of the platform party. Robin Holmes, Vice President of Student Affairs. Richard Linton, Vice President for Research and Dean of the Graduate School. Charles Martinez, Vice President for Institutional Equity and Diversity. Michael Redding, Vice President for University Relations. Francis Dyke, Vice President for Finance and Administration. Dave Frohnmayer, President Emeritus, who led our university from 1994 to 2009. George Pernsteiner, Chancellor of the Oregon University System. And Richard W. Lariviere, 16th President of the University of Oregon. Oregon Governor Ted Kulongoski could not be with us today, but has sent a letter which is reproduced in your program. I'd now like to introduce some of our special guests seated in the front two rows. They include Jan Lariviere, President Lariviere's dissertation advisor, Ludo Roche, and his wife, Roseanne. Jan Lariviere's mother and stepfather, Evelyn and Harold Rapp. State Board of Higher Education member Alan Ford and Cheryl Ramberg Ford. Former State Board of Higher Education member John von Schlegel. And the following officials. Representative Bob Jensen from Pendleton. Senator Doug Whitsett from Klamath Falls, who is marching as a delegate. June Chadha from Senator Wyden's office. Dan Whalen from Senator Merkley's office. Carmen Four of Congressman DeFazio's office. Lane Transit District General Manager Mark Pangborn. Eugene City Manager John Reese. Eugene Assistant Manager Sarah Medari. ASUO President-elect Amelie Rousseau. And David Piercy, husband of Mayor Piercy. We also have with us, among our delegates from other institutions, 12 university and college presidents. Daniel Weiss from Lafayette College. Barbara Couture from New Mexico State University. E. William Beauchamp from the University of Portland. Thomas Manley from the Pacific Northwest College of Art. Bob Davies from Eastern Oregon University. Daniel R. Lockwood from Multnomah University. Vim Vivell from Portland State University. Christopher Maples from Oregon Institute of Technology. Mary Spilday from Lane Community College. Cheryl Roberts from Chemeketa Community College. Daniel O'Connor from Oregon Coast Community College. Ed Ray from Oregon State University. And John Sigelski from Mount Hood Community College. And now let me direct your attention to the members of the Klamath tribes from Chiloquin, Oregon, the Mid-Nite Travelerz, who will offer an honor song in celebration of today's ceremony. The Mid-Nite Travelerz honor the University of Oregon and its new chief with a song from the heart of their people. As is traditional and appropriate, please rise for this honor song, this gift from Oregon's first peoples. Thank you. You may be seated. And now the moment has arrived for the official investiture of Richard Lariviere as the 16th President of the University of Oregon. Chancellor George Pernsteiner will confer the presidential power, signified by two items: the presidential medallion, which was designed and fabricated in 1975 by University of Oregon faculty member Paul Buckner, and the University Mace, designed and fabricated by University of Oregon faculty member Max Nixon. Chancellor Pernsteiner and President Lariviere.
Thank you, Provost Bean. It is a true privilege for me to join the University of Oregon community today and this entire state as we officially invest Richard Lariviere as President of the University of Oregon. Nearly 2 years ago, I asked a search committee led by John von Schlegel and including 24 of the university's most dedicated faculty, staff, students, and supporters to find the right person to lead the University of Oregon after the long and distinguished tenure of Dave Frohnmayer. When they recommended Richard, I was delighted. Richard Lariviere has the experience, the vision, and the energy to be a great president for this great university. And he has shown those talents already during his first 10 months with us. His leadership will be essential as Oregon enters what Governor Kulongoski has called the decade of deficits. Richard knows that now is the time for Oregon's universities to break free from the strictures of being state agencies whose tuition earnings can be and are used to fund other state programs at a time when higher education is essential for the success of Oregon and of Oregonians. Richard's passion for the University of Oregon already is legendary, and I look forward to working with him as part of the OUS team as we meet the needs of Oregon for educating its citizens and building a vibrant economy and a vital society. Acting with the authority given me by the Oregon State Board of Higher Education and acting for them, the members of that board, it is with great pleasure that I formally invest you, Richard Lariviere, with the responsibilities, the authority, and the obligations of leading the University of Oregon as it provides our state and our citizens with the very best education for students and with research that will expand the frontiers of knowledge. Oregonians deserve no less, and I am confident that you and the university you lead will succeed. On behalf of the Oregon State Board of Higher Education, the Oregon University System and its 6 other universities, Governor Kulongoski, the Oregon Legislature, and the people of Oregon, it is my privilege to present you with the official symbols of leadership of this great university, the President's Medallion and the University Mace. Thank you, Richard, for accepting this charge.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We'll bring you the mace.
Thank you.
I would now like to introduce ASUO President Emma Kallaway, who will introduce the President.
Thank you all for coming today. I want to especially thank our guests from out of town that are here to support the important recognition of President Richard Lariviere's wonderful addition to the University of Oregon. His academic accomplishments will continue to point the University of Oregon in the right direction. Before coming to the university, President Lariviere served as Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost at the University of Kansas from 2006 to 2009, and as the Chief Academic Officer at the University of Kansas. He oversaw the reorganization of KU's graduate school and the School of Fine Arts. Before arriving in Kansas, President Lariviere was Dean of the College of Liberal Arts at the University of Texas, Austin, from 1999 to 2006. During his tenure of heading the nation's largest liberal arts, the college rate of external research funding doubled and more than 230 faculty members were hired. These are the statistics of a great leader. But what is more important is President Lariviere's ability to connect with the culture of being a duck in a way that exceeded everyone's expectations. In preparation for this introduction, I interviewed students about their interactions with President Lariviere. Initially, I was surprised by how many students had met the president, been to his house for dinner, or been interviewed by him in his efforts to get to know the university. This should not have been a surprise, though. I have not met one faculty, staff, or student that doesn't recall being listened to by this president. Not just being heard, I mean being questioned and listened to with every ounce of his ability. President Lariviere has taken the time to consider the past, present, and future with students in mind. Faculty especially appreciate the increased transparency with the workings of the campus. Even the white paper has a fan page on Facebook. Tenured faculty members to officers of administration all say that they have felt that their opinions and experience matters. A peer of mine said that President Lariviere recognizes the special climate of our campus and strives to improve what is already wonderful about this place. Another student said, as they were registering students to vote this fall, that they felt that President Lariviere was approachable, and what was even better was that he was already a registered Oregonian and was registered to vote even before school started. What I appreciate most of all is how President Lariviere has sought out the necessary conversations with student leaders to educate himself about the university. I know I am one of many students that have had the privilege of working with our talented president. An especially challenging time this year was when the office of the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Trans, and Queer Alliance was vandalized. President Lariviere came into the office to work with students. He communicated with his peers in the community to help us to respond, and he took the time to listen and reflect to the students' feelings about safety on campus. I believe that the measure of a good leader comes from planning for the future, but I believe that the measure of a great leader comes in times of distress. President Lariviere works with students through successes and trials, and for this he has our utmost respect. We have had rough spots this year and great victories, but President Lariviere's level of composure, patience, and vision have stayed steadfast through any issue that comes our way. He is there when students need a place to voice their needs. He is there when we win football games, win awards, and showcase outstanding academic work. President Lariviere is a president for students, and we are very grateful. Thank you for choosing the University of Oregon. Please help me in welcoming President Lariviere to the podium.
Well, thank you very much, Emma. That was very touching, that introduction. Well, it never rains in Autzen Stadium. But it does seem to rain occasionally here on the quad. Thank you for coming out in this rain. I'd like to acknowledge some family and friends here today. As Jim has mentioned, my wife Jan and Harold and Evelyn Rapp, mother-in-law and stepfather-in-law, and the two teachers who did more to shape my career than any others, Ludo and Roseanne Roche. Thank you. I also want to extend our greetings and my appreciation to our friends who are watching from the White Stag building in Portland, and to my daughter who's watching from New York and told me that it's sunshiny there today. But regardless of the weather, I'm here to celebrate, we are here to celebrate today. The reason for this celebration lies beyond the public display and the pageantry and beyond the gowns and the very odd hats that we wear on these occasions. We are really here because of a shared belief that learning and knowledge determine what it means to be a human being. We are here to celebrate that fact and therefore to celebrate the University of Oregon. This, as Chancellor Pernsteiner said, is a great university. It's a masterpiece, a sacred trust from those who have made it great. It is a masterpiece, but it's an unfinished masterpiece. I love this masterpiece in the making, this green and beautiful campus and these buildings where generations of students and teachers have met in life-changing 50-minute sessions. And I love it for many of the reasons that I'm going to talk to you about today. But behind it all, I love it because it is a public university. And a public university made me who I am. My parents had nothing. They were products of the Depression. They couldn't attend college. But when my mother announced that she was pregnant, my father vowed that I would go to school. And I was the first in that entire family to have that privilege. Thanks to part-time jobs and the then generosity of the taxpayers of Iowa, I made it through the University of Iowa, and it enriched and changed my life completely. A public university opened the world for me. It enabled me to imagine a life that otherwise would have just been a dream. Public universities offer that opportunity. The University of Oregon offers that opportunity. It's a place that brings out the best in young Oregonians and that enriches and shapes their lives forever. I came here because of you, each of you here today. And in many ways, this day, this celebration is about each of you far more than it is about me. I have learned a great deal about you. I've learned about your abiding commitment and pride in our excellent undergraduate programs. I spoke recently with students who are enrolled in the Robert D. Clark Honors College. Challenged continuously by prized professors, they told me their assumptions are constantly questioned, their minds are opened, their horizons are expanded, and the workload is endless. But they said it's very much worth that workload. I learned that building a program that teaches at the highest caliber while serving the people of the state with the highest level of commitment is a source of absolute pride and satisfaction here. For example, this year, our law school provided more than 8,000 pro bono hours. That's more than any other law school in the state, and it's a distinction that it has earned 8 years in a row. I've learned that when you give of yourselves in order to design and run programs that offer real-life experience to men and women, that there are rich rewards. For example, the University of Oregon Investment Group, through the Lundquist College of Business, manages a portfolio of nearly $1 million, and our students this year achieved the highest cumulative return in a decade. I've come to know how powerfully your work impacts the nation. For just one example, the College of Education, whose faculty work in every single school district in Oregon and have worked directly with more than 50,000 students to provide individual support and instruction, also work in all 50 states, in more than 14,000 schools and 18 countries. That kind of dedication makes education better. I know that in an institution such as this, one person is often honored for their individual brilliance, and that a single person's honor reflects on all of us. But I also know that such accolades emerge from the supportive brilliance and hard work of all of us. Such is the case for Michael Posner, our National Medal of Science winner. Such was the case for our MacArthur Fellow, Frank Stahl. our 5 National Academy of Sciences members, our 9 American Academy of Arts and Sciences members, our 15 National Science Foundation Career Award winners, our 26 Fellows of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, our 47 Guggenheim Fellows, our 10 Pulitzer Prize winners, and our 133 Fulbright members. I've learned that creativity brews from deep in the hearts and minds and the DNA of artists, often from lonely places of solitude. But from those places emerge art and works of art that can reshape our minds and move our hearts. Among these are Milagro Vargas in voice and Steve Owen in jazz studies, and Philip H. Knight, Professors Jeffrey Stollett in music technology, and the late and much lamented Charles Dowd in percussion. Each of these colleagues is a Fund for Faculty Excellence Award recipient, and each, along with their colleagues in that wonderful College of Music and Dance, is truly an artist of note. It's also found among our student and alumni whose talents were sparked here. We proudly claim connection to those alumni and their works. The uniquely Northwest novels of Ken Kesey, the stylish and thought-provoking films of James Ivory, the Native American-rooted architecture of John Paul Jones, the advertising and business acumen of Dan Wyden and Tim Boyle, the daring of polar explorer Anne Bancroft, and the loyalty, the generous, remarkable loyalty to the university shown by John Jaquah and Penny and Phil Knight. And I also know the sometimes body-numbing experience of stepping out into the cold at 5:30 in the morning in Oregon to cut and to trim and to rake and to plant and to make this campus into the place of beauty and delight that it is. I know that this work, as well as the work done by support staff, office workers, technical experts of all kinds, is vital to making this campus great, and is even more vital to our vision for making it even greater. As I said at the outset, we have great reason to celebrate. Let's start with exactly where we are, in the midst of this awe-inspiring campus, this unfinished vision of former School of Architecture Dean Ellis F. Lawrence. As we look around us today, we see a part of that vision realized, yet across this campus, this masterpiece is unfinished. It is unfinished as it always will be, because time offers a new perspective at every moment, a field of vision flowing from the past through today and into the future. It is our job to see that flow and to act upon it. One way we can do so is to continue our green programs. With remarkable vision and initiative, our students began our green programs 35 years ago, and we remain at the forefront of these efforts because of their vision back then. We are setting a standard on this campus, aiming to reduce carbon emissions to as close to net zero as possible. This is one of the most important issues in this century, and the bold vision to achieve these goals, a vision already begun by our students so long ago, puts us in the unique position to be leaders in this field. In addition to building green and its promise to the future, we're here to celebrate another promise to our future, the promise of research. Research that creates new meaning and new knowledge. New knowledge that bears fruit in industry and commerce, namely in the form of jobs. Jobs that strengthen our economy and enable families to prosper. Jobs that offer that same promise to generations following, creating the means for that family's offspring to come to places like the University of Oregon, finding dignity in higher education, and repeating the cycle of learning, knowledge creation, and job formation. Jobs are the real meaning behind the facts that make us so proud. Facts like these. The University of Oregon is now among the top 25 universities in the country for return on research through licensing of intellectual property. The University of Oregon ranks among the top 25 universities in the country for company startups. The University of Oregon has the third highest increase in research expenditures per faculty over the last 5 years. In the last 5 years, our research expenditures per faculty have increased by 50%, while the median increase among the 63 top research universities in the country was only 21%. Our absolute growth in research expenditures over the past decade was 137%, ranking the University of Oregon 11th among the AAU's research institutions. This latter fact is an accomplishment even more remarkable because the University of Oregon does not have a medical school or an engineering school. Our graduate education program is vital to this enterprise. Without our grad students, we would not have a successful research mission. It takes great minds to create new knowledge, so we must position ourselves to attract more of these great minds. We are also engaged in what we are calling the big ideas, ideas that unite professors and students from many different departments to answer specific questions and to solve critical problems facing our region, our nation, and the world. These big ideas range from sustainability of products to sustainability of cities, from investigation of our own hemisphere to the reworking of the education of Oregonians, and to the enhancement of health and human performance globally. But there are other reasons, actually about 22,000 other reasons to celebrate today, namely our students. We have some of the greatest students in the world. It is demonstrated not only by their entering qualifications, but also by their involvement in campus governance and the amazing work they produce in classes across the disciplines. It is also demonstrated by their commitment to service across the entire globe. As I said, research and graduate studies play a vital role in the mission of this university, but the foundation of our mission is the focus that we place on undergraduate education. Those first 4 years are ones of discovery and of intellectual challenges that result in the changing of the very core of who a student understands him or herself to be. In a year that has already been filled with complex challenges to the ideas of free yet appropriate speech, in a year in which members of our community have felt the pain of hatred, I am intensely proud of the energy and commitment of our student leadership. I want to say to our student leaders that your thoughtful and active contribution to those challenges has, does, and will continue to make an enormous difference. Your commitment makes this campus a strong and safe community, a place to thrive, and a place to truly achieve greatness. The greatness of this university is dependent on the excellence of its students, and it is essential that we enable those excellent students to attend this university without the overbearing worry of cost. I know firsthand the importance of affordability, access, and quality, as I mentioned earlier. Our Pathway Oregon program is one such effort in this direction. Pathway Oregon ensures that academically qualified, lower-income Oregonians will have their University of Oregon tuition and fees paid entirely. It is a promise to Oregon students to help them complete an undergraduate degree in 4 years without incurring crushing debt. It is a promise that each student can be part of our greatness. But greatness is also found in diversity. I'm proud that we are closing the gap in both numbers and of students of color and in their graduation rates. The Education Trust recently recognized the University of Oregon for our growth in graduating underrepresented minority students. We were ranked 15th in the nation for our gains. We are also making significant strides in diversifying our faculty and our workforce across all employment categories. Students learn as much from each other as they do in the classroom. In order to ensure the excellence of their education, we have to ensure the diversity of the student body. Our commitment to advancing diversity remains steadfast. It is integral to our academic mission and how we understand ourselves. But we must also recognize that the struggle to ensure the diversity of this or any other campus will never be finished. Oregon's legendary track coach Bill Bowerman said, we're all in the same wagon, the same state, the same life. This laconic statement summarizes the Oregon foundational sense of a shared identity. But there's another part of that foundation, and that part is trust. We are in the same wagon, the same state, the same life. But if we share this life without also sharing trust, we gain nothing. Trust is a very peculiar quality. When it's present, no one thinks about it. But when it's lost, its absence rings so loudly that little else can be heard. Without trust, every reason that I'm here, every reason that we celebrate today could be lost. All that we do at a university is built on trust. From classrooms to counseling, residence halls to research labs, administrative offices to athletic fields of play, trust is necessary, essential, if we are to be the university we want to be. It is that trust that will carry us forward as we work together and as we work to develop a new partnership with the state. Now, none of the reasons that we celebrate today will matter in the long run if, to be perfectly blunt, we can't pay for things. The reason we are here today is to reimagine the public university. We are suggesting a new model, a model that creates a change in the relationship between higher education and the state, a model that re-enables access and affordability for Oregonians, a model that preserves the University of Oregon's mission as a public university. What will this new model and this new public university look like? Well, first and foremost, and I want no misunderstanding around this, the University of Oregon will be a public university. A public university that finds new resources to help more Oregonians earn college degrees. It will provide greater predictability in college costs and address head-on the affordability question. One option that we've put forth is a new form of public financing that will provide a safe, secure, and predictable funding level to this university. I would like to see our state capitalize its investment in the University of Oregon in the form of a new public endowment, a fund that will provide access and opportunities for future generations of Oregonians. This may be accomplished by taking the $65 million that the state currently provides, which is now only about 9% of the university's budget, and use those funds to establish a public endowment of $1 billion that we would then match dollar for dollar in private funding. And make no mistake, the university can achieve that goal. This idea for a public-private endowment is an investment in the infrastructure of the state. The most important infrastructure we have, the future of our students. With a dependable form of state funding, we will begin to make long-term financial plans that provide greater stability in tuition pricing, that invest in our faculty's work, and that provide greater access for Oregonians. Another component of the new university model must be the establishment of a new public governing board focused specifically on this university. With a majority appointed by the governor, this board would manage the institution and ensure it continues to provide the critical services and educational needs of the state. The existing Oregon University System Board would serve as a coordinating board for all the state's public universities, ensuring we meet the state's educational needs without unnecessary duplication of programs or degrees. Now, what I've just outlined is just one possibility. It is our best attempt to date to help advance this conversation. We will work very hard to implement this new relationship. We know that the old way of cajoling, begging, pleading with lawmakers for funds that they don't have is useless. And doing nothing is unacceptable. This is an ongoing conversation. It's a conversation we're having with the men and women charged with leading Oregon, with business, labor, and community leaders, with our students, faculty, and staff, and with our alumni and friends. This is a conversation I want you to join. It is time for the University of Oregon to lead, not follow the rest of the nation. Together, we will reimagine a new public university. Now, I want you to take a moment to look around and to consider what we are part of here today. We are here to celebrate this remarkable university. But our celebration extends beyond what we see now. Together, we are building, student by student, day by day, year by year, a public university that changes lives. You know your reasons for being here, and now you know mine. My story began with a siren call from a public university to my parents, and through them to me. They didn't have the chance to attend college, but their children would. My parents understood that going to our state's flagship university would change my life, and boy, were they right. And that remains true to this day. Other families, other students in these times must hear that same call and know that a world-class university, the University of Oregon, is within their reach. And when those students and those families reach out, this great university will be here for them, and they too will celebrate. Thank you.
The University of Oregon Gospel Choir will now sing for us. Their second selection will be the Oregon Pledge Song, at which time I ask everyone to stand and join as you wish. You will find the words on page 8 of your program. ceremony is drawing to a close, and you may now be seated for the recessional. Thank you once again for joining us to celebrate this important and historic occasion, and please join us for the reception that follows in the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art. The University Marshal will now retrieve the mace and lead the recession, beginning with the platform party.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Oh, that hurts so much. Oh. Oh my God.
Thanks, Doc, for the gig.